So if you're considering making a move and Dallas, Georgia is on your radar, then we're going to talk about, is it a good place to live? Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm a little biased because I personally moved my family to Dallas, Georgia. I have lived half my life, 25 years in Florida and the other 25 in Georgia. We lived in Cobb County for a long time, but then we decided to make a move out to Dallas. And so today I'm going to tell you, is it a good place to live? And like I said, I'm super biased. We love it. Now, there's always pros and cons of everywhere you live, but let's talk about why Dallas is great. So for us, when we moved out here, one of the biggest things was affordability. So if you look on a national average, we run overall for cost of living about 12% lower than a lot of other places in the nation. And we are 16% cheaper on utilities. Another thing for the cost of living out here is our seniors. There is a discount. So when you turn 65, not income-based at all, it is, they take away about half of your school tax that everybody pays in the state. And then at 68, it completely tears out. So if you're looking to retire, Dallas, Georgia is great for that. Another thing is if you live in Georgia, we have what's called the Hope Scholarship. Currently, my daughter qualified for it and the Zell Miller, but she was able to, they're going to start combining that now, so she'll still qualify for all of it. But depending on what school you go to, it pays for most of your tuition, if not all of it. So my daughter goes to Kennesaw State University, which is about a 30 to 45-minute commute from Dallas, Georgia. And we don't pay for any of her tuition. We pay for books and some other things, but that's a huge advantage to moving to Georgia, and Dallas, Georgia affords that to you. So you get the affordability option, and you also then have all these extra little perks for you depending on if you're in a retirement phase or you have college age students. So I'm going to have another video that talks about the Hope and all the advantages that there are for it. So look out for that video as well. So we just touched on KSU, but let's talk about actual schools in Dallas, Georgia. So we rank in the top 30% of schools for the whole state. And we actually do have some pockets where we have schools that are in the 9s and 10s for our elementary and middle school. Now, we did just open up the Crossroads Middle School, and there's a reason for that. As you know, with most counties, we tend to be rather reactive than proactive. So we were starting to experience in our North Paulding High School some crowding. And that's pretty typical when you have an area where you have a lot of growth. And that's what Dallas really has been for some time. If you were struggling to have affordability and had that suburban lifestyle in Cobb County, you were getting pushed out into Dallas. Well, now you're getting pushed out even further than that if you're a first-time homebuyer with a lower price point. So what we're seeing here is, because it's desirable, we have so much new construction, which I will touch on in just a minute. We were seeing that crowding, that growth pocket, you know, and some of the struggles that come with that. So that middle school, which is right off the Seven Hills Connector, is going to allow for some of that growth to kind of ease up in there. And I would say we have another high school down the line coming that's in the works, and that's going to help alleviate some of those growing pains as well. So I did just talk about new construction. So we are slated in the next couple of years to have about 3,000 new construction homes built out here in Dallas. So if you're looking for new construction and you were looking in Cobb County and you couldn't find anything, then we are definitely the push out for that. So if you're in Cobb, you're probably not going to find new construction under $500,000, certainly not in better schools. You might find a townhome, but not a single family home. So a lot of our families are moving out here because they're looking for that type of lifestyle. And they are looking for a nice neighborhood, they're looking for amenities, or maybe you're looking for some land. You're not going to get that in Cobb, certainly not under $500,000. And so we have some homes that are being built on land. So if new construction's on your radar, Dallas, Georgia is a great place for that. Let's talk incentives, because that's a biggie, right? Right now with the economy, we need everything we can have. And rates last year shot up over 8, right? And that was awful. Yes, we're seeing them tear down 6s, hoping 5s for this year. But that's one of the things that we were being able to get a lot of our new construction clients in homes with much lower rates. I have some clients in the 4s, and we're even seeing some advertise in the 3s. So they were buying down the rates for our clients, or offering incentives where they give you 15, 20,000. You could buy your rate down yourself, use some for closing costs. That combination of it just helps with the affordability. And so that's another pro we feel like when you want to move out here, and it's why it's a great place to live. So let's talk employment. So there is no major industry out here in Dallas, Georgia itself, but we are about 30 minutes for most people that commute into Cobb. And if you actually go into the city, you're going to be an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on traffic patterns and where you have to go in the city. So is it a pro? Is it a con? If you still want that suburban lifestyle, we're a great place to be. You want that affordability. If you don't like to drive a long ways, probably not going to be your favorite place to live. I have another video where I do talk about all the pros and cons, and I actually show you the map. So if you want to, hop on over to that video, because that will show you if that's a consideration. But let's say you work from home and you want to be somewhere you still want high-speed internet. I have AT&T fiber. We stream, and two of us work from home. I said games. It's amazing. So there are some advantages that way out here that we feel like it makes a great place to live, because the affordability is there. There's tons of green spaces, but you could still, like I said, have that work from home, and depending on where you work, a fairly decent commute. Now let's talk about commute in Georgia. I don't know hardly anybody that doesn't have at least a 30-minute commute. Most of my clients, when they start telling me they want 10 to 15 minutes away, we have to have a really serious conversation. It depends on where you want to live. So when you start telling me that you work in Marietta, or you work over in Woodstock, which is over in Cherokee County, and we get talking about commute, it's really hard in some of those pockets, depending on your budget, for you to be 10 to 15 minutes away. So let's talk reality, and reality is probably at least 30 minutes, and a lot of people have an hour. I have clients that have moved out here that actually did work in the city, and they ended up on some flex schedules, or they worked from home a few days a week to be able to help alleviate that. But that is me being completely honest, which I always will be with you, the reality of what a commute would look like. Are there jobs out here? Absolutely. But we just don't have a lot of factory jobs or industry, warehouses, things like that. We do have an Amazon warehouse out here, but other than that, not too much. One of the biggest things that people always ask me about is safety. So safewise.com voted us in the top 20% of the safest cities in Georgia. And so that's always on people's radars on where is a good place to live. I will also tell you, I have several police officers that work and live in other counties but have chosen to live out in Dallas. And so always that's an indicator when they decide to make somewhere a home for them and their families, why we think it's a safe city. Let's talk retirement, because that comes up all the time. So Dallas, Georgia is actually a great place to retire to. We have lots of 55 plus active adult communities that are being built. So it affords a really nice lifestyle for our retirees. They get a home that the exterior maintenance is maintained by the HOA. They actually mow your lawn, handle all of the mulching and all that kind of stuff, and then you're on one level living. But let's say you don't want a 55 plus, you don't want that HOA and all the amenities and activities. Then we actually have a lot of ranch style homes that are built here, especially on land. So if you want a little bit different type of retirement, and you want that independent still, but you want the ranch style living, we have a lot of that out here, and you're not going to find as much towards Cobb, certainly not with the affordability. What we find is a lot of times people have a larger home and they want to downsize. Well, you don't want to sell your home for $600,000 and have to buy another $500,000 or $600,000. You want a $300,000 or $400,000 home. So we have that affordability piece there, whether it be the 55 plus or, like I said, the ranch style homes. also you get those tax breaks. At 65, they start tearing out your taxes for the school taxes. So let's say you bought a home and the home's 4,000 and your taxes are around 4,000 a year. You could end up with taxes as low as 2,000 a year. So it gives quite a bit of savings for someone looking for that retirement home out here in Dallas. Another piece of is a good place to live is, are you close to health care? And you are. We have Wellstar Paulding Hospital. We have in Ackworth, the little pocket that's over in Paulding. We do have a Wellstar that's an urgent care. We have other doctors out here, and we have Walmart. I mentioned Walmart in another video that I did for, I believe, the pros and cons. And what I find is a lot of people who don't have true health care, but you're looking for somewhere to go. We were actually a test pilot out here in our Dallas Walmart. And so they have that, they have the dental. If you don't have actual health care and you still want somewhere to be able to go for a teeth cleaning, tooth extraction, if you need the medical care and you've got a sinus infection or you need blood work done, they treat for other things, but it's an affordable option for a lot of families. So if that's something that's on your radar and you're looking for, then Dallas, Georgia certainly affords all kinds of healthcare options. One of my favorite things about living in Dallas, Georgia is that it has a lot of green space left. We are not overbuilt like a lot of Metro Atlanta. And you're going to be able to also find that in neighborhoods, not just if you want to build on land. A lot of our neighborhoods have preserved that. So they've left the trees. They didn't come in when they developed and completely obliterate all the trees and plant one back in the front and back in the back. Now, we do have some neighborhoods like that. Those are usually more of a cookie cut, production builder. But if you're looking for neighborhoods like Seven Hills, Bentwater, Riverwood, those builders actually took into the fact that not everybody wants everything stripped and you want some privacy in your backyard. And so we are able to afford that here. We also have, when you're driving around, it's green and lush a lot of the time of the year. Or when we have fall, we do have seasons and it's beautiful here in the fall. So those are some advantages of why I think this is a great place to live, not just because I brought my family here personally, but because we still have that suburban feel. You still have that lush greenery that you don't always get when you're closer into the city. We're not heavily constructed. Now, do we have some road congestion, and are they working on that? Absolutely. I don't think you're really going to go anywhere in Atlanta. There's like a joke, about construction here, that road construction never ends, especially on 285, which is the loop that goes around Atlanta. We're no different. We're trying to have infrastructure brought in. We're bringing in a lot of new families out here because of all that new construction, but I still think it's a great place to live. So if you're considering making a move and Dallas, Georgia is one of the places that you're considering, we would love to be able to help you. So you can hit our subscribe button and watch more videos about Dallas, Georgia, or you can reach out to us and schedule a time, and we would love to help you plan. That's one of the things that we feel like we specialize in on our team, and we love to help you not just buy a home, but really learn about the community that you live in, what's important to you, what your goals are long term. Is this a short-term move? Is this like your forever home? We want to help you with that. So if that's what you're looking at, you can schedule an appointment with us, and we would love to be able to help you move to Dallas, Georgia.